Welcome to Stargate SG1. For the first time, still not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Aiken, and I'm watching Stargate SG1 for the first time.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I'm watching Stargate SG1 for the 47th time, but for the first time, I am watching this episode specifically trying to dig out those sci-fi messages that are contained within. You know, those things that sci-fi does really well, like holding up a mirror to society or giving us hope that things can be better in the future, or just telling us how we can be better to each other as human beings.
This week, Brent, we're watching Secrets.
Yes.
And last week, I had an incredible prediction that I'm positive is going to come true. I just don't remember what it was. So if you need a reminder to that, last week we put out Family. It was an excellent, epic episode. Yes. Go listen to it again. You'll hear my prediction.
I know what your prediction for Family was, which is you said it's going to be the first look at Sha're since Children of the Gods. It's going to be all about the Jackson family. I honestly don't remember what you said Secrets was going to be.
I bet it had something to do with Sha're, because I remember at one point you're like, stick on the Sha're thing.
Stay with Sha're until it happens, right? Yeah.
So we'll say that. In the meantime, though, before we dive in, Brent, why don't you give us any details on Secrets?
Oh, Jeff, I have so many details on this, but I'm going to keep them all secret until after you have seen the episode.
Oh, I see what you did there.
But a few that aren't secret, this is episode 9 of season 2, and the original air date was August 21st, 1998. Jeff, I just have to comment on the clockwork nature of the show. They are not taking too many weeks off. And I never realized that until I had to start looking for the date that they aired. I always just thought hey, they'll do 2 episodes here, take a week or 2 off, do 3, take a week off, which is the way most TV does. You know, they don't just go new episode. Like a lot of times they do 2 or 3, 4 in a row, and then there's a week or 2 off.
Or they do the repeat, like the rerun that would happen, and then they pick it up again.
Exactly. You know, and they do have their mid-season breaks. They do have their season breaks at the end and stuff. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say before we watch the episode.
All right. It's a secret.
So with that, Jeff, then why don't we go ahead and watch the episode? Because you want to watch it. I want to watch it. If you folks out there are joining us for the first time, here's how this works. Jeff has never seen the episode. I've never watched it for these things. And we are going to go watch it for the first time right now. Absolutely right now. And if you're joining us on YouTube, you're going to get to stay with us and you're going to have the reaction video. Our friends on Patreon get the full unedited side, which might be better. I'm going to say it's better. There's more fun conversations that happen over there.
More fun. I don't know if better's the word, but more
there's
fun.
Definitely a lot more fun there. So you guys can head over to patreon.com/Babylon5 first, or check the show notes for updated Patreon things, because when this goes out versus when we're recording is not going to be synced up at all.
If you're listening on a podcasting app, you're about to gate into the future where we'll be waiting for you with my first time reactions and Brent's sci-fi messages, if he found any. I'm excited to both see this episode and hear what the lessons are in it. Brent, let's dive in.
You ready, Jeff?
As I ever will.
It occurs to me, you're probably not going to know this first thing you're about to see.
Okay.
This would be a thing. I'm just going to tell you. If you had seen the movie, this opening shot would immediately click. They're going to have to explain it to you. They'll explain it to you. You'll know exactly what it is by the time we're done, but let's see what happens. You have seen the movie. It's just been a really long time. So let's,
a couple
decades. I know people out there why haven't you watched the movie? Technology. We can't do the movie like this the way we do the show because of technology right now. So.
Now, that was just a few minutes ago. Now, obviously, Kazuf's unburied the Stargate and is waiting for me.
Is that guy from the movie?
Yes.
He's that actor who he was on Babylon 5.
Yes.
He was in. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
It's hard to tell with the thing, but I remember he was in the movie. So.
Yes, he was in the movie. He was. Who was he? Do you remember?
No.
I will tell you. He is Share's father.
Oh, okay.
He was the village leader, the tribal chief. By the way, I didn't even consider that. This episode has 2 Babylon 5 crossovers. There's another great one I'm so excited for you to see later. So
awesome.
Here we go.
Year to the day.
I'm actually curious if you're going to catch it, if you're going to know it.
Okay.
I don't know that you're going to know it. So anyway, we'll see. All right. Hey, Sam right here is just saying his
1 Abidos year to the day, which was
now
my prediction for season 1.
the wrap up.
Where this is the day that if they don't come through for stuff, they crumble down the gate.
Yeah.
Well, if I don't go back now, they will bury the gate for good. It's what I told them to do if I never came back.
That literally is the reason to go.
General,
Yeah.
I lived
That's
among
the
these people
reason.
for over a year.
Walk through the gate, say, yo,
Possibly be
walk back.
safer than in the company of Teal'c.
Well, you shut it off and return it back on.
You're
Right,
welcome.
yeah.
Daniel Jackson assures me the Abidonians are a peaceful people.
They're great people. Are you kidding? In fact, what do you say you and I blow off this medal ceremony thing and go with the boys?
That's Jack
Yeah.
right there. That's O'Neill. Forget this.
You may leave when ready.
I like him and like trying not to laugh.
Yep.
Right there.
He's like, that's awesome. Go ahead. The cool thing about that is he's going to have to take some guff from the president of the United States, and he's totally willing to do that for his team.
Well, I mean, Jackson and Teal'c aren't
I'll
going
pick you
to
up in a
meet the
couple of
president.
days, huh?
Like, just
And
say
say
him.
hi to the president
Jack.
for me.
Will do.
Oh, I thought they were going to go along.
Yeah.
Daniel's like, I got my Abidos pajamas still I can wear.
Yeah.
Good father, I ask your forgiveness. I have returned without your daughter.
Daniel, you can really see
we
his
did.
scalp in that butt
I
part
fear that
of
my
the
search
90s
will
hairdo
continue
he's got
for
going on.
many seasons.
They call that a part,
Come.
not a butt.
It's a butt part. How about I draw a line down the middle of your head so it looks like a butt? Sorry, he was trying to beg his forgiveness for not bringing back Shara.
Yeah, as he should.
Yeah.
Had a long time, had a whole year.
Yeah. You couldn't get it done in a year? Seriously?
Wait a minute.
Share.
Teal'c's like, choo-choo.
Oh, that's not part of the
Rut-row-rudge.
Whoa.
All right, so fun fact, she's actually pregnant here. Like the actress is actually pregnant. Do believe I told you. Do you remember who her husband is?
I don't remember.
That guy.
But I remember you telling me.
Michael Shanks.
Oh, they really
Yeah,
are.
they
That's
really
right,
are
that's
married
right.
in real life. That's his baby in there. Just keep that in the back of your mind while you're watching this episode.
Pretty big secret. There's a
No.
Gould
Take my
right
life in
there.
exchange.
Yeah.
Nobody's
As far as
killing
they know.
anybody. Apophis is the father.
Well, of course, dude.
Oh, that's awkward.
Then Apophis is here also.
Did he do the glowy eye thing when he was doing
He has
it?
hidden me away. He does not want to reveal the true purpose of this child to his enemies.
What
true
true
purpose.
purpose?
Peace.
He wishes the child to one day become his new host.
Oh, that's pretty gross. That's messed up, man. Like, he gets her pregnant. Gould lays down,
that
so now,
true?
like, she's fully aware as Shara of everything that's going on. What a hell.
Yeah, think about what Shara's going through now, though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
But it also just goes to show how much of the host survives underneath. You know, like how present they are during the whole. They can't do anything about it. Completely helpless. You know.
They're probably just having to sit and watch that whole time.
As long as the gold within her sleeps, Shara shares its memories.
So what?
It would be of great strategic benefit to have access to the Goa'uld genetic memory, even for a few days.
It's good thinking.
What?
Yeah, tap in, learn some stuff.
Access. Do you know who it is we're talking about?
I do.
I'm on
And
that.
soon she will give birth.
Well,
To
hasn't she gone
Apophis
through
2,
enough?
Electric Boogaloo.
But what are you talking about here? Teal'c handing her over to Mayborn for study?
The knowledge she possesses could one day save your world.
I don't care. I will not put her through that, too. I'm sorry.
More sorry for yourself, it appears, than for Shara.
Tell him, Teal'c,
Within a matter
because
of
he's
days,
being
Shara will
awful
give
right
birth.
now.
The Goa'uld within her will reawaken. Apophis will
It
take
will
this
not
child
go
and leave
well.
Apophis forever. That is the fate you choose for Shara by allowing her to stay.
You know what I love about this moment right here, Jeff? And I want to say this here because I don't know that we'll get to it later. Teal'c is being the best friend that Daniel could ever have right now
Totally.
because he
totally.
is just speaking truth, and he is cashing in on that bank account that he has built with Daniel over this last year, and because he's speaking real harsh, like like. He's not just laying down truth. He's like doing like, if this was real life, he'd be like, dude, get your effing head out of your effing butt because you're
Yep.
being a dumb butt right now. Like he's laying it down. And look, Daniel's not even getting mad at him. Like he's hearing it. He's receiving it. He needs somebody to like put his hands on his shoulders and shake him because you know what? Kasuf was right. He's not acting like a husband. That girl in there needs him, and he's so in his head about what this means he can't be anyway. It just Teal'c's like, get over your own crap, dude. You're just feeling sorry for yourself. Stop it.
It's been awesome watching the relationships with Teal'c. We talked about that a couple episodes ago with him and O'Neill
Yeah.
and stuff, and it's just the guy's just so part of the world. And I mean, we're partway, almost halfway through the second season, but this isn't new. Like Teal'c has been a full, like, accepted member of the crew since like episode 5, you know, and it's built from there. I think that Stargate, you know, Deep Space Nine and Stargate, wow, look at that. Star Trek in general, the like Deep Space Nine and forward, it's the relationships, the friendships, you know, that really tell a lot of the stories. In fact, Deep Space Nine and you know, What We Left Behind, like that's the part that always gets me, is watching the, you know, like the relationships separate. But in such a short time, Stargate's been able to do that with its characters so effectively that this scene right here, of course, this is how it's happening. You know, it's like, this is two buddies with a deep bond telling him what he needs to hear.
It's I'm actually really glad it's not Jack here, who is in authority over Daniel. This is Teal'c and Daniel, who are side by side peers, shoulder to shoulder peers. Like,
it's literally just friendship.
Then I'd like a moment with my wife.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
When George told me you were up for the air medal for your work in
analysis of deep space radar telemetry.
Right.
Yeah, that thing. He's like, sure.
You're getting an air medal
nerd.
for that. Right.
Colonel Jack
I did some good math.
Jacob Carter. Carter. As in?
As in my father, sir, yes.
Get out of town. Sam's dad. I've heard nothing about you, sir.
What's there to say about an old general waiting to retire?
Dad, I talk about you all the time.
I guess I'll go make the rounds.
Yeah, there you go. And here we
Just
are.
between us, your cover stories could use a little polish.
Sorry,
What are you-
Dad, I
what are you
don't know
talking
what you're
about?
talking about.
I'm talking about getting you into NASA, Sam.
Oh.
I'm talking about you actually going to space someday.
Funny thing, Dad.
Right. Kind of been all over space. Oh, he's not got his cover on. Back in the 90s this time, you do not go outside without your hat,
Really?
without your cover. I don't know what it is now. I think I see people out there without their hats on now, and it bothers me.
You hate me.
I feel the same way when I go to Disney.
No, I love you.
Yep.
You forgive me.
There's nothing to forgive.
That's the right answer right there. She's such a victim, you know? I mean, not only is it horrible it happened to her, but she's had to watch all of this, have been aware of it.
Whatever she's had to do with her body, like,
I hate what's been done to you. I love you.
I dare say Michael Shanks is giving the performance
Everything
of his
else.
career right now because that's his wife.
Right.
Like, he's able to pull, like, the way he's looking, like,
I love you.
this is all.
It's for real. Also, if he drops the ball, not going to go well when they drive home.
I mean,
Will you stay?
he's literally looking at her going, if she had been taken
Can't.
over by a ghoul,
Right.
I'm torn up. Like,
Because I want you to come home with me.
I love that he sees her and like he sees what she's going through.
yeah.
And I'm glad that but thanks to Teal'c, he was able to get past that, because at first all he could see was what she was going through. Not what she was going through, but what it was putting her through it.
There's a waiting list a mile long.
I suppose I
Not for
could have
you.
done that math.
Dad, you can't do that
I did.
without talking to me first.
You're
Oh,
Well, I am your
telling me you
dad.
don't want this? They know what you're capable of
Well,
offering.
it was a
to space
surprise.
Samantha. At least talk to the man.
There you go.
Do that much for me.
Yes. Sam, the answer
I knew
is
sooner or
yes.
later you'd make
Nope,
this
stop.
like you.
Stop it.
All right.
But Dad, it's not that I don't
I
appreciate it.
said all right.
You don't appreciate it. That's why.
Catch up
You
with you
don't
after the
appreciate
show.
it. Yeah, right? He did something for you. He went out of his way to do something that he thought you wanted ever since you were a little kid. He has no idea what you do in real life, and you just pooped all over it. Sorry.
Colonel
true,
Jack
though.
O'Neill, right?
We can study what keeps the Gould dormant. There may even be a way we can remain together.
Apophis will return. If she is gone, he will destroy the whole village.
Yeah,
Tell
but
them
we'll
that
have
me
some
and
really great
Apophis came
knowledge.
and stole Shara and the child away.
And it will be the truth, yes? Go with them.
You can't just tell her like that.
I love that.
I'm her father.
Oh, great. Okay. Wait. Tell him a great enemy came and stole her away, and he goes, and that will be the truth. Yeah, go. I love that.
It's perfect.
Shari,
Oh, is there a ship coming? Apophis, he lands.
The Goa'uld ship approaches.
She's probably.
Shari, what's wrong?
Oh no!
No! Shari,
Dude, Teal'c is quick on that Zat gun, man.
have to hold on a little longer, please.
That's a reuse from the movie.
Daniel Jackson, we must leave now.
You recycle that bad boy as much as you can. I like how you hear the ring transport. Oh, they're going to show it. I thought they were just going to do the sound.
Not Apophis. Do you recognize this guy? We have
Not
seen
yet.
him before.
My lord, someone attempted to flee through the Stargate.
When the child comes forth, the demon will return.
I know.
Yeah, it already
Apophis
did.
comes for me.
It was not the ship of Apophis.
And who?
It was that of Heru-Ur.
Oh,
He is a great
Heror.
enemy of Apophis.
I remember
He
him.
will take my child.
If you're gonna go ahead with it, I want to make sure you get one thing right. It's O'Neill, with 2 L's. There's another Colonel O'Neill with only 1 L. He has no sense of humor at all.
Story's going to run, Colonel.
It'll read like science fiction, Armin.
This country has
'Cause
no
it is.
Official Secrets Act.
I know that.
You can't stop me.
I know that too.
You don't think anyone will believe it?
I'm sure someone will, but it's not me.
We'll see.
Well played again.
Nothing in the world can live up to the chance of actually going to space. Not for you.
I agree.
Nothing in the world.
And I'm good.
Your whole life.
My dream, doesn't that make it up to me?
Fathers have dreams too.
It's true.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Although I think her dream is her dream, right? Like,
Dad, please don't go like this.
Congratulations on the medal. I'm sure you deserve it.
I'm sure you deserve it. Whoa. You know, I didn't necessarily have the best parents in the world, but they were not that. Although my parents were pretty awesome.
And now the baby's here, now you have to push.
I find that talking to a woman delivering like that really helps calm her down. Just calm down! Just push! Oh no. That happened
It's
fast.
a boy.
Of course it is a boy.
It's a boy.
We got a baby, it's a boy.
Give me the child.
Kick her in the face!
Found her.
Bring me the child of Apophis.
Oh, that's Tilk.
Glad you
I
noticed
recognize
the
that voice.
Okay, people getting shot with the Zat gun will never not be funny to me now.
We have little time.
Dude, his helmet retraction is way cooler than the Serpent Guard. Just
Right? Well, those are the fancy movie ones, right?
well, okay, so no, they're not the fancy movie ones, but in the movie they did the like almost like the Marvel Iron Man like.
Okay.
So, which this actually makes a lot of sense to me because Heru-Ur is the son of Ra. So
Okay.
he has his dad's like he has some of the, it's not quite as swift as his dad's, but it's definitely there versus Apophis is just like,
Yeah.
you know.
Chunk.
So it kind of always bothered me until I thought about it as we're recording this of like, actually that's a neat detail that even among the Goa'uld, like their Jaffa things are different, you know,
Yeah.
their emblems are different. We know that.
So to be clear, they stunned her and then walked out.
And left her sitting there, knowing that
Uh-huh.
she's going to wake up as a Goa'uld and
Don't remain
Apophis
here,
will come
good
get her.
father. You must
and-
go into hiding.
And Harar is out there
Telling me
looking
that the demon
for her.
has returned to reclaim my daughter.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Tilk straight up shot her.
Need a nursing woman.
You must find one whom you can trust.
Don't we all?
One who is not afraid of hardship.
You destroyed both Goa'uld spacecraft that were poised to attack this world. Your exemplary courage and heroism reflect great credit upon yourself.
You know, I know that Tilk and Daniel are not in the military, but they should be an equal share of receiving honor.
I'm only sorry.
They have civilian
Yeah,
honors.
Actually,
Like,
made it impossible for the president himself to do this.
Kneel before your God. My lord, the Stargate.
Oh, hey, it's us.
What the hell?
It's not quite like when you got SG1 at full team strength, huh?
oh, that hurts to even look at.
You'll pay for this insolence.
That dude literally had a knife through his hand, through the electrical crystal, and he still could call for the rings. And he still happened to be standing in the exact right spot.
Teal'c?
Somebody
That is
explain to me
wild.
what just happened.
Apophis.
There's Apophis.
Didn't we destroy this guy?
Also, just start shooting at the Stargate so the second he walks through. Just
Jaffa, kill Ammon.
I am here, my pharaoh.
where is my progeny?
The child.
Stolen by your enemy Heru-Ur. Forgive me, my pharaoh, for feigning you.
We'll just try again. Right here.
It was
Daniel watching.
fun the first time.
Jaffa, Shantek.
Come home with me, my queen.
You see that last look she gave as she walked off?
You all right?
No, I'm not.
It'd be weird if you were.
She looked directly at us, Daniel Jackson, yet she did not reveal our position.
Let's go home.
And we're off on another year.
Stargate SG1, year 2.
All right, Jeff. First of all, welcome back to all of our audio podcast listeners who have just jumped with us into the future. Jeff, we have just watched 30 seconds ago, finished watching this episode, Secrets. You have the floor, my friend. Pontificate.
Shara, baby. Shara!
Hey, you've been calling it since Children of the Gods. You were just way off on when it would actually happen.
Hey, you know what? I knew it was going to happen in the series.
There you go.
At some point. What a great episode, man. Like, in season 1, I was iffy on a lot of the Gould episodes. You know, like they were okay, you know, kind of whatever, but this was great. I think the biggest takeaway, I have 2 big takeaways. There's a lot of little things, but the big takeaway is, holy crud, a lot of the host lives on in the Gould. I think up till now I wasn't sure, you know, like, and they weren't sure. That's the thing they talked about a couple times. But the fact that Amonette, the Gould, and Shara was asleep while she was pregnant, and she was fully present, and then talking about how, like, she's been watching all this stuff happen, you know, like she's just this unwilling participant. It makes me think of, you know, people like Apophis and Horror who are here, and you know, they've been around a long time. They've done a lot of horrible things, and that host is just watching the whole time. Oh. There's a great scene where Daniel finally breaks down he's got some pretty strong prejudices, right? Like he sees Shara, but all he actually sees is the Gould, and he attacks her, you know, verbally, won't really engage with her, and it takes Tilk in an amazing scene of great friendship being like, dude, go be with your wife, my man. Like, come on, go do it.
Yeah.
He does. It's a cool scene. And I thought it was great. You know, we talked about it during the episode. The actors there, Michael Shanks and the Shara actor, are actually husband and wife. And it showed what a touching embrace and the stare and everything. But what I loved about it, again, Michael Shanks with the unbelievably great facial acting, that look of love, but also like compassionate fear and sorrow for knowing what Shara is experiencing, like that suffering. Oh, and he's powerless. Oh, that's got to feel horrible.
Yeah. My
My other big takeaway, and this is a guess, there's this whole storyline in here where Armin Shimmerman was a journalist.
I love that they use that name. I really do.
Right. It's so like, poop, right there. But this journalist comes out of nowhere, and he knows basically everything about the Stargate program. He knows the SG teams. He knows that the Stargate can take you, off to other places. And he's trying to get a word from O'Neill, who is epically good. So good at being like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, doesn't even. In fact, if I was a buddy or a partner or something with Robert Dean Anderson and I watched that whole sequence, I would never trust him in real life.
Right.
Like, if you can lie about the lie and the story and it's all totally believable, I can't trust you. But dude gets hit, the journalist gets hit by a car out of the blue, and he's laying there and his last words are, "It was you son of a..." And then he dies. I think there is a big, high-level conspiracy at work here. I'm guessing Senator Kinsey, somehow involved in this whole thing. Facilitating the leak, getting rid of the reporter, some stuff. The way Jack was really shocked by that death, by the dude getting hit by a car, and Hammond just told him, he's like, dude, you're good. You did nothing wrong. It was a weird mistake. And O'Neill's, he's a soldier. He knows what's up. He's like, yes, sir. But that just had that stink to me of like, oh, this is going to be a thing, and it's going to go on for a while. Yeah. We got to see Sam's dad. Sam's dad has lymphoma. He's going to die. It's pretty sad. What's really sad is he's got a couple months left, and neither one of them could resist taking jabs at the other one.
It's true.
Yeah. It's sad to see.
I got to tell you, though, I have always been on Sam's side when watching this, because Jacob is pushy. He doesn't know what's going on. Like we know what Sam is doing is so much better than flying on a space shuttle.
Right.
To
You'll orbit the Earth.
The orbit. Yeah. Like you're not even going to the moon these days. You're just going up to orbit. The ISS. That's about it. Like that's all you're really doing right now. Her job is so much cooler. Always there's no way she can tell him. She can't even intimate anything about what's happening. I get it. But the way she completely blows off her dad, I've never seen it until this watch through of like, she's awful to her dad. Like he's sitting here like trying to be touching and he's reached out. He's done something for her. And maybe he should have asked. Yes, he doesn't know what he's doing, but you know, where I come from, it's about the thought. It's not about the gift. And he's trying to reach out and you just crapped all over it. And then you turn around and said, oh, I knew you were going to make it about you. And clearly they have some history together. I mean,
I think if you break that whole scene down, like first she's like, I don't want this. And then he like concedes a little bit. He's like, just go talk to him.
Yeah.
Like just talk to him. Then she flips it. Oh, now you're making it all about you. And it's like, literally you say, yeah, I don't want that. That's totally fine. You can have your boundaries. You don't have to accept everything your parents give you. But when he's like, look, will you talk to him? Yeah, Dad, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll talk to him.
And that said, I just want to acknowledge that Sam also is an adult and a person of agency. And yeah, he should have talked to her and said, Sam, I have this opportunity. Would you like me to do this? Her dad should have said that for her. I don't want to take that away from Sam or from the character, but like, families are tough, man. Families.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And I also think that he did everything with positive intent and based on what he knew of her. But the one piece he knows that he should have acknowledged more is that he knows she's in a secret program, right? His whole thing, like, hey, your cover story is pretty lame, but still, like, he knows his daughter from before when she was younger, and based on that person and those dreams, he went and flexed his big general muscles and made something happen. I think the least, literally the least that deserves is a, hey, thanks, Dad, but nah.
And hey, also, I wouldn't mind seeing my little girl go to outer space, which has been the thing she's talked about nonstop since she was a little girl. I would love to see her fulfill that. I think it is natural. So we both have young children. We both have daughters about the same age, right? Let me ask you, Jeff, is there a part of you that would eventually like to maybe be a grandfather?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, is there anything wrong with saying, I wouldn't, but something's going to happen eventually. Like, it comes for us all, right? Like, it's going to happen eventually. It's just a matter of when. I would like to live and chances are you will, like, but it's a possibility, maybe not. Maybe I would like to see, would I like to see my great-grandchild? That'd be like, I think that's an appropriate thing for a parent to be like, yeah, there are some dreams that I have, and there are some pieces I have here. The way he turns around and clams up and just is like, oh, well, you don't want it. And now I'm going to shut this off. Like, that's not cool. He needs to handle that kind of stuff better himself. Clearly he and Sam are cut from the same cloth. This is a relationship that I guarantee you the writer probably has with their own father. It's written so.
He's got a couple months to live with the lymphoma, so I imagine this isn't the last we're going to see of him or this relationship. There's, I like though how they did it. He's like, hey, got a couple months left, which says, hey, I might show up again. But then he says, so don't rush to check on me tomorrow or anything, meaning it could be next season that you see me again, if you do.
If we do. Or there could just be hey, Sam, I got a phone call. Your dad just passed away. And then we see her at the funeral. Could be that too.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Could be all kinds of things. It'll be cool to see what happens. But I'm sure we'll hear about him again. I have a lot of notes, but it's all story and plot stuff. There's a lot of that in this one.
Did you recognize her father?
No.
I didn't think you would. I did not think you would.
Is he the other Babylon 5 guy?
He is. I'm going to give you a second to rack your brain. Because when we saw this person in Babylon 5, I freaked out and was like, oh, it's this guy. It's Jacob from SG1. You had no clue what I was talking about. Our folks at Patreon, the folks on YouTube, everybody's commenting about it. I'm like, I know. And Jeff has no idea who we're talking about. Here it is. You want me to tell you who he was?
Yeah, because I keep thinking of that home guard guy with the scar, but that's a real scar he has, so I know it's not him.
Go back to season 2, the episode Knives. Londo's friend, Urza, whatever, that he had to shank.
Oh my gosh.
That's him. You saw this dude with the Centauri head fan last time. Yeah.
And playing, like, that was the one too. I'm like, he's basically playing, like, they're playing two old Lebanese dudes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And wow.
Yeah, that was him.
Yeah, I can totally see it in the eyes. I can totally see it.
Yeah. Carmen, I'm going to butcher his last name. Agenziano.
Yeah, I think we even said it when we talked about Knives.
Agenziano.
Couldn't pronounce it.
So.
Well, at least I caught, what was Karufa and
Kasuf.
His piece. Or Karuf.
Kasuf? Yeah.
I thought I have an R on my notes. Kasuf.
Yeah. Change the R to an S. You're good.
What is he, like a Karuf of coffee?
Yes.
Yeah. Good episode. Really enjoyed this thing. Got a lot out of it. And I think what's kind of cool is, like, we're seeing a lot of these feuds between the Star Lords, I'm guessing.
The System Lords.
System Lords.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just watching this for the first time and having a hard time remembering this stuff or something.
Gosh, Jeff, we already told you about this. How do you not remember? Seriously.
There was one episode, like 6 episodes ago, where they said System Lord.
How did you not grasp this? They already told you.
It's right there.
Jeez.
But it was pretty awesome. Daniel flexed with horror. I can't even say his name.
Do you remember when we last saw Horror? This is not your first time seeing him.
It was not too long ago that we
Thor's
saw
Chariot.
That's
he
the
was
one.
the guy who invaded Samaria and was building those ships. Do you remember his mom? Did you catch his mom? Jeff, they told us who his mom was. How do you not know this? It was
I bet
in
if I
the
go
show.
look at my notes, I know it.
You should be paying attention.
I should be. I might have fallen asleep.
Okay, guilty. Guilty. Okay.
Touche.
It literally happens for like half of a second. Like, I hear it. I'm not actually asleep. Hathor. His mom's Hathor.
Oh, yeah.
Dad's
I'd be
raw,
pretty
mom's
angry
Hathor.
and upset too if I were in that setup there.
Yeah.
But it was fascinating. Daniel's like, dude, enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? We don't like this Apophis guy. And we just saw that Gould arrogance, just like, no, are you kidding me? I'm going to ally with ants. Crazy. What about you, Brent, in this one? Did you find any sci-fi messages?
I did, but before we get there, though, I got a couple of things I want to run through before we do that. One, couple of notes that I just kind of some behind the scenes background stuff. Okay. We already talked about how the girl who plays Charest / Aminette is Michael Shanks' wife in real life, and that she really was pregnant in this episode with his child. That child's name would go on to become like Tatiana or something like that, I think is her name. Was a girl, not a boy. Michael Shanks tells us a story at the cons talking about the scene where she goes into labor and he's like helping deliver birth, which, by the way, we didn't have any Daniel deaths in this episode. We didn't have any For Crying Out Louds either. But maybe we should start counting how many times Daniel has to help somebody give birth, because this is the second time we've seen it in the show. So, and the movie references a time where he had to do it before then. So anyway, so they would get to a spot where they would yell cut, and like they're in between takes and they're having to reset and stuff. And he would turn around and start talking to the baby, being like, no, don't really come out yet. Like, stay in. We're not ready for you yet. So
wait till he says action.
Yes. Also, just remember this particular moment here when, in a couple of weeks, if possibly, Michael Shanks should just kind of disappear from the show for a week or two. He might have had something going on in real life. Not too long.
Was that their first kid?
Yeah.
Honestly, like, it makes sense. You and I have both been in the delivery room as our children were brought into the world.
Yep.
And the way he was kind of taking care of her, that is not how it goes down in there.
No, but you also are in a room full of a ton of other people who know what they're doing, and you're just standing there going, I don't even know what to do with my hands.
Daniel was yelling at her.
Well,
calm down.
Yeah.
Just push. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, not okay.
The other note I had from the show, this is probably a top 3 reference for me that I love. Jack's joke about there being another O'Neill with 1 L, and he has no sense of humor. That is actually a reference to the Kurt Russell Jack O'Neill from the movie, who, if you remember, I told you in the movie, he was fresh off the death of his son. He was very stoic and very whatever. And Richard Dean Anderson, when they approached him to do the show, he had an entirely different take on Jack. He had this snarky, this comedic, this kind of deal. It is true in the movie, O'Neill is spelled with 1 L, and in the show it is spelled with 2 L's.
Okay.
It is true. And I don't know if they did that like kind of a Nick Locarno, Tom Paris thing, so they didn't have to pay the guy. I don't know. It's clearly the same guy. Maybe it's just a typo or something, or maybe they just changed it for this particular joke right here. But it is the reference back to there's that other guy and he has no sense of humor. Like,
not so funny.
Totally a reference to the Kurt Russell, Jack O'Neill. So, Jeff, I'd like to introduce a brand new segment here on Stargate SG1 for the first time. It occurs to me as we're going through all these mythologies, we're hearing all these names of gods and goddesses and stuff. It might be nice to at least understand who these people are in real Earth mythology, as the show is completely retconning what they are. So today I would like to welcome you into history according to Brent. And by history according to Brent, I mean Wikipedia. Amunet. Let's talk about Amunet. There's Apophis, there's Ra, there's Heruer, there's Hathor. We'll talk about those people at various times. But today we met Amunet, so let's talk about Amunet. Amunet is a real Egyptian goddess that was worshipped pretty much throughout the entire history of Egypt, including the Ptolemaic period, which, if you don't know, that was really at the end of the ancient Egypt period, when the Greeks had taken over and they basically were installing their own pharaohs. They were Greek pharaohs. Cleopatra was the last of the Ptolemaic pharaohs. We are closer to them than they were to the building of the pyramids in time. Yeah, it's so wild. Anyway, so it's really pretty much the Greek. So she is a staple of the Egyptian pantheon. In fact, one of the Ptolemaic pharaohs, Philip of Macedon, such a Greek name, had statues of himself suckling at the breast of Amunet.
Wow.
To show that he, is blessed and of the God, he is the God King Pharaoh and is of that whatever weird bloodline. Anyway, she and her male counterpart, Amun, so she is Amunet and he is Amun, along with 3 other couples, so there's 8 altogether, are a sort of separate little subset of their gods called the Ogdod, which basically these guys were the ones who existed before time began. They call them the primordial gods and goddesses, the primeval gods and goddesses. This is before everybody else, right? Now, you've heard of Amun before. Amun-Ra, you probably are familiar with a little bit of Egyptian history. You also know the name King Tutankhamun,
Okay.
Right? And she is the female counterpart to Amun. Now, as mythologies grow and change and evolve, Amunet is going to be replaced by another goddess, a different goddess, not the same one with just a new name. Her name was Mut, and she is the spouse of Amun, but the real history of that is Amunet is Amun's counterpart. And even though she was replaced, she still was just this constant presence, like I said, throughout the entirety of Egyptian history. We see her all the way back in writings in the pyramids, as I said, all the way to the Ptolemaic. And finally, in keeping with the episode title, you're going to love this, Jeff. This is the first time we've ever heard her name. We didn't know what Share's name was.
Yeah.
The name Amunut itself means hidden one or secret one. For the episode called Secrets.
called secrets. Yeah. While she's hidden away on Abidos.
Yes. So other than that, I really couldn't find anything that talked about like what she did as much as she was just there. Like if you think of like, you know what the Titans were to Greek mythology? Like
yeah, they're like the
parents of the gods
of everybody.
Well, these guys would be like the great grandparents of the gods, you know, and they're there. So anyway, that is Amunet. And that is your edition of History According to Brent / Wikipedia.
There you go.
All right.
That's fun.
Yeah, there you go. Did you enjoy that? What do you think?
I did. I like that. It's kind of, I learned a lot of new stuff.
I'm not trying to pad the show and make it even longer. It seems poignant to the point. We're not going to have these every single week for sure. So, you know, but just as it comes up, it seems fun.
You know, get somebody.
All right. We talked about lessons. What is the message? What are the sci-fi messages that Stargate is trying to put out there? Part of having to do this right off the cuff means that a lot of times these are a little bit unbaked. So I think where I come down to it is, here's the message. And I'm going to chalk this one up to the how to be better to each other category of the good sci-fi message, which is this. Say the things that need to be said, like the actual words that need to be said. And I'm really going to look towards Teal'c for all three of these examples. I loved when Teal'c finally had a little almost semi-private meeting with Share. He was in the tent. Daniel was out moping. I think he was there with Kasuf, and you know, Kasuf is like, or she's like, Daniel doesn't love me, and he's like, no, he loves you so much. And he turns around and they talk for a minute, and he goes, yeah, I was there when you were taken by that Gould, and for my part, I can only ask for your forgiveness. Yeah. And what I loved was Teal'c said the words, I ask for your forgiveness. So many times when we are trying to say I'm sorry, the thing that we fail to say is, will you forgive me? You can say, I'm sorry. People, it's okay, whatever. But there is a different power in saying, I ask for your forgiveness. Will you forgive me? There's a different power in what that does, how that releases a person from their indebtedness, their sin against you, whatever it is. Like Teal'c can't undo what's been done. He gets that. He is working. Teal'c is working to atone for it. He's trying to stop it from ever happening again. But yet he still says, will you forgive me? Because it's not enough. He is doing what he should do, but it's not enough. He actually needs to receive forgiveness. It's a good thing to say. We talked about this a little bit during the episode, but in like the very next scene, Teal'c goes out and he's having a conversation with Daniel, and he and Daniel over the last year have developed a rapport. They've developed a bank account. They're on a team. They trust each other. They depend on each other for their lives. They got a relationship. Teal'c goes off on Daniel, and not in a nice way. He doesn't sit down and say, okay, can I have a talk with you? Hey, so the way you're doing this here, I don't really love that for you. You're doing this. You really, no. He is like, you are being an effing flarging idiot. What is wrong with you? You don't do this, and here's what's going to happen, and here's how you, and he says, you're just feeling sorry for yourself. That woman in there needs you right now, and you're out here moping. What are you doing? You are not helping the situation. And Daniel just sits there, and it's not that he takes it, but he receives it, you know, and Teal'c just like he he owned up. Now, in that situation, I think Teal'c was drawing on a lot of the bank account he and Daniel had developed over the years. But he said it. It was what Daniel needed to hear to shake him out of his complacency, so he could go turn around and go, you know what? I need a moment with my wife alone. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you needed that a while ago.
Yeah,
but go get it.
And
now.
Teal'c just stands there, real stoic, right?
It's like, there you go, dude. Yes.
Yeah. But then the other one I see is later in the episode, and this isn't so much saying the words, although it is the words he said, but then it's what he backed it up to go do. When Daniel is insisting he's not leaving Share, they're in hiding, they're kind of trapped, and Teal'c's like, yo, dude, Harrower is going to get here. He's going to find us. We got to go. And Daniel's like, I'm not leaving her. And Teal'c's like, yeah, but, and Daniel goes, I'm not leaving her. And Teal'c goes, okay, then I'm going to do what needs to be done to protect you. And he goes off and he does what needs to be done. I love that moment because, again, it's a part of that bank account. It's a part of that trust, the teamwork, the teammate piece. And he says, okay, then I'll do what needs to be done. He hears it, he accepts it, he receives it, and he goes off, and Teal'c is just a true friend.
Yeah.
All the way through. And I think these are great examples of how we can do that. Are there other messages that could be pulled out? We talked about Sam and her dad and what that looks like. You probably could look at that if I had more time to really think about this and dig it out and go back and rewatch the episode again. There's probably a great juxtaposition between how Teal'c and Daniel operate, and even Daniel and Sha're versus Sam and her dad.
Agreed. I think as you were saying that, like, there's that thing over there. I'm like, no, I think it totally falls into the say what needs to be said category, because this is what it looks like when you don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's there. Now, here's the question. Is that in the intent of the episode? No. But I think the writer of this episode saw the opportunity that was in front of him or her. I think it was him. And they seized it. And they said, I'm going to Teal'c is going to come in and say what needs to be said, and he's going to do it throughout the thing. And then we're going to see Sam. And I do think that there is, I think it's just part of how you write a good story. You set up this piece, you throw it in there. Are they writing this for the intent of showing this as the message? Probably not. I think this is more plot point. I'm not telling you that this episode is going to have major ramifications later on down the road, but I know what comes up later on down the road.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And I think it does. I think it clearly is going to have it set up a lot of stuff.
Sure. And it came, I mean, and not just, you called out the Jacob thing, but there's more to come for sure. So I do think that this was the intent, maybe not the intent of the episode, but the opportunity was there, and the writer did the good writer thing and wrote it in. Good sci-fi message, good, strong, all the way there. Jeff, I'm giving this one four chevrons.
Wow.
You're surprised I didn't say 5, right?
No, I would.
I was a little high.
I think so. I mean, I think it was a little high.
Okay.
I think I don't disagree with anything you said. I think there was a little bit of you spread that butter real generously on the bread, like it was a little pat that you got spread out all the way, pretty thin, a little thin, but it's there. It's there. I'm not going to argue that. I mean, everything you said is definitely there. You're rating.
I was going to say, I could be convinced. I could be convinced to go down at least a half a chevron. I'm going to leave it at 4 though. Yeah. These completely subjective ratings that are set in stone.
They matter right now, and in 4 seconds they won't.
Yes.
That's what it is. But here's where I'll support your 4 stars.
They matter way more than actually the message we just talked about itself.
Here's where I'll support your 4 chevrons.
Yeah.
I think it is the juxtaposition in the stories.
Yeah.
Like, we see 3 very different situations of this that play out.
Yeah.
They're not like the Jake and Sam, or the Sam and her dad thing. I don't think that's integral to the story, right? At this point, at least, like, that's just, a thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones were. That's what got Daniel, where he needed to be and stuff like that. But the fact that they were able to kind of give you the different views of that same thing.
Yeah.
4 chevrons.
And I definitely think if you really look at it, I think the title of this episode is perfect. You've got secrets. Sam has to keep secrets from her dad. Her dad's keeping secrets from her, right? And we see how that whole thing happens. Jack has to keep the secret of the Stargate program when he's going up against this reporter dude who, let's face it, he's not revealing his whole hand either. By the way, who do you think is the guy who tipped off who do you think is the person that tipped off the reporter?
It's somebody in Kinsey's group.
Oh, I think it was Kinsey. I think it was Kinsey himself. Yeah. I used to think that it was Mayborn. Do you remember Mayborn?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I used to think it was Mayborn, NID, but no, I think it is the fact that he deliberately talks about the $7 billion. I'm like, that's a Kinsey thing. That's what's going on here. Is Kinsey didn't get to shut them down. And so now he's trying to expose
coming at it a whole different way.
Yeah. He just does not want whatever's about to happen. And, somebody ran that. I don't know. See, I'm not so sure that it was an accident that ran that dude down.
I agree.
And I don't
think
know that it was Kinsey's office that did that. I think that might have been Mayborn. That might have been Hammond in the SGC. Like,
yeah. Just kind of like,
yeah,
problem solved.
Yeah. So anyway, you have those secrets, but then you also have the secrets going on Abidos. You got, what is this? The secret mission of Apophis, like to father this child and use this child as his future host. And what does that look like? What does that mean? Do you see the look that when Daniel looked at Teal'c and went, I've never known that, and Teal'c just kind of looks off into the distance like, oh, they're trying to figure, and then Kasuf has to keep the secret from Harrower, and Amunet keeps the secret from Apophis at the end, that they're sitting right there and stuff's happening. Like, that
was intense. Like, that was hard eye contact she was making, and she's just like,
yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, a lot of secrets. I'm not going to put those in the messages piece though, but yeah, I'm on 4 chevrons.
It's a good
Jeff.
call out.
Now, listen, we spent a lot of time talking about a rating. You know what's actually more important and is worth more of a discussion and more criticism, to be frank, is the ranking. And Jeff, it falls to you, my friend, to put this episode in our absolutely 100% completely definitive season 2 ranking of Stargate SG1. Our current top 5, just for whatever it's worth, is Serpent's Grasp and Serpent's Lair. Number 2 is Thor's Chariot. Number 3 is In the Line of Duty. Number 4 is Message in a Bottle. Number 5 is Need. Jeff, I've got a feeling I think I know where you're going to place this one, but where do you place this episode? Secrets.
It's hard because sometimes when you have to do the duty to make something happen, and I was working way too hard just to say duty.
Yeah, you just did it twice though.
Duty.
Good job.
I'm gonna say it a few more times actually. But this was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. We've had a couple really good ones. I'll say the top 3 specifically, but even number 4, in Message in a Bottle, is good episodes.
Yeah. That's the one with the ball shooting the spikes out.
Yeah, I liked that. You weren't as high on it.
I've never had been on that one. Yeah,
I thought it was a cool story.
Yeah.
But to me, this one really does fall in kind of a duty place.
Yeah,
in that I think it's really the new number 2. Yep.
Wow, Jeff.
I worked really hard to get here's the thing. Before you were doing the intro and I looked at it, I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be in the number 2 slot. And then I'm like, I've got to work that into duty somehow. So
perfect, Jeff. Perfect. I cannot, this is why I'm so glad that I get to do this. I get to partner with you and do this, man. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing.
This is what we do.
I may have just woken up people downstairs because it's
sometimes
late at night for me right now.
Well, sometimes when things get funny and you do the thing, it gets hilarious and it gets a little loud.
You just said do again.
I did.
All right, Jeff. Well, that's going to do it for secrets. Would you like to know what we're watching next time?
Yeah.
Jeff, this is one of those episodes. You're going to know what this episode's about. Maybe you know. Oh, I'll give you a hint. This is one of those episodes every sci-fi show does.
It narrows it down, so thank you.
If I was doing this Beam Me Up style, this would be a leave it off the list episode.
Oh, okay. Okay, because it's the story's well known.
That doesn't mean it's a bad episode. It just means integral to everything. Not really. Yeah. Name of the episode is called Bane. Jeff, what do you think Bane might be about? I gave you hints.
Bane?
Bane. Yeah. B-A-N-E. Bane. Not anything having to do with Batman.
Yeah, I was going to say this was 98, so we were living in a very different Batman world at that time.
Yeah. Yes, that Batman had nipples.
He did. I think Bane, like Bane of my existence,
yes.
Kind of Bane. A thing. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so I feel like we've watched in a couple of episodes Teal'c show up as a buddy, right? In Message in a Bottle, it was him and O'Neill. Here, we saw him and Daniel. So this is where it's going to have to happen on the other side. Teal'c is going to get, I always say captured. It's so dumb. He's going to get hurt somehow, and he's going to have to come to terms. Here it is. They're going to be on whatever mission, and he's going to come face to face with like people that he's hurt as a Jaffa.
We've already done that one. It's called Korai. Are we doing it again?
Well, it's going to be a little different though.
Okay. He's not going on trial this time.
Exactly. No, this time it's just an interpersonal thing for him.
Okay.
He's hating on himself.
Yeah.
Right. This is he just asked Shara for forgiveness. He's going to come face to face with some other damage that he did. This is going to be him working through his stuff around what he did. And it's going to mean like he's going to be down on himself, and it's going to be Daniel or Jack. Like, they get to repay that friendship thing to Teal'c in this one. So it's going to be a Teal'c episode, and I think it's going to really build on his friendships with the SG.
Well, I can promise you that Teal'c is in the episode.
That's good.
I can promise you that. You're a good guesser, Jeff. You're a good guesser. Folks, that's going to do it for us right here on Stargate SG1 for the first time. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure. We love you guys hanging out with us, joining us, whether you're on the audio podcast and you're skipping into the future every week, or whether you're joining us on YouTube, watching the reaction along with our discussion following this, or maybe you're even one of those folks who join us on Patreon, getting the full unedited version, whatever level you're at. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We very much appreciate it. Please don't forget, whatever level you are, whatever platform you get this show in, please subscribe, like, leave comments, leave ratings, leave reviews, all that sort of stuff, and share this episode, share this podcast, share this YouTube channel with someone that you know who likes Stargate SG1, or maybe somebody who, like my friend Jeff over there, needs to get into the gate. With that, folks, I'm going to say thank you, and on behalf of my friend Jeff over there, good night, and we will see you next time. So long, folks.
Hey, Brent.
Hey, Jeff.
Look at me. Brent, look at me. I love you.
Oh, Jeff.